Okay, are we working? Come on. All right. Hello, everyone. This is the first live stream for Fields of Tourmal. We're going to be doing a bit of a Q&A, looking at some of the wiki stuff I'm working on, looking at the spreadsheets for power graphs, and seeing where the game is currently. I'm going to let a few moments for people to funnel in. I'm going to exit out this now. Put that up onto another screen. There we go. Let's see, does that look better? Right. Load up this. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Got it back. All right, hello. See some people have come in now. All right. Yes, I know I cannot. All right, let's switch over to be able to see my screen now. Hopefully, I think that worked. All right, so what we're going to be looking at here is the graph of power curves. Now, the graph of power curves here is going to explain how I plan cards to be laid out as far as strength. Now, there are a lot of lines and interesting doodads. We'll get it all explained. Now, most card games right now, that's the yellow line. This includes Hearthstone and Magic follows about a similar power curve, as well as Elder Scrolls Legends. So most games follow this yellow line. Now, blue line is another type. This is more akin to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Then you have the gray and orange lines, which are the first two I don't really want to say race. I guess the first two nations would be the best term right now. Haven't really come up with all the terms yet for everything. But the first two nations are going to be this gray line, the Agatamian state, and the orange line, which is the mercenaries. Now, that seems odd. This clearly shows that early power levels, the Agatamians have a huge advantage in power, and it's shown up here in the numbers as well. And that the mercenaries have way more potential for high strength later in the game. And this is because of two reasons. One, we are going to be using the idea of commanders to balance this chart out. The mercenary commanders won't exactly have a lot of unique things that they can do. They will buff their units a little bit. So far, Rowan Corpus, his main ability is the effect of healing his units. So they'll stay on the field longer, but it really doesn't strengthen them at all. So the mercenaries need a high base strength, where the Agathemians have a lot of abilities that are active and really affect how the game is played. Right now I'm working on a few. One of them has the ability Call to Martyrs. Allows you to sacrifice units and instead do massive amounts of damage with those units, increasing their power exponentially from where they actually are. That being said, it does use up the unit. Next, we have the idea that you might not want to spend the mana to get to the units way over here. This means to get to this mana in, let's say, Hearthstone, this would be 12 turns. After 12 turns, both of you would have 12 mana. You could each summon one of those creatures. Clearly would give the advantage to the person who has the stronger creature. However, Fields of Tourmal, on the other hand, does not give you mana. Mana is something that you have to sacrifice cards for. So, for example, the mercenaries might sacrifice a card that is 12 strength just to get up there, because they're going to want to get to that high end quickly. Where an Agathemian player might not care as much because their cards are actually stronger early game, giving them an advantage. That being said, if they focus not getting up their mana, they might not have the cards to win, but if they can win early, then it doesn't matter. This goes back to those abilities. I know this is probably not the most interesting thing, just charts and graphs, but this is a lot of what card game design is, especially in the idea of balance. Moving on, we'll head over now. To the wiki. Alright, so here we have the Fields of Tourmal wiki. So I've been working on here. Going to be a big space if you ever want to know what's going on with the game, and I'm not at the moment putting out an update. If I've done something, it's probably going to be put onto here. I haven't made links to everything yet, so getting around is not beautiful yet, but here we have our first section of gameplay data. Now this shows what everything is and how to kind of get, work with it in the game. In fact, for those in the stream currently, I'm actually going to slip over to the stream real quick. And post the link to the wikia into the chat so anyone who's there can kind of follow along with me if they want. If not, you can get there via fields-of-tourmal fields-of-tourmal.wikia.com. And you can get to the wiki page I've created for the game. So that'll allow those in the YouTube video later that I will be posting to follow along with this. Now, the two parts of the board are the enemy side and the ally side. Allies being you. Each button here is laid out. Really, I'm actually curious at this point, if anyone's in the stream who wants to know, what is it that you want to know in the wiki? What is the information you're looking for most? This is going to be my question to you guys. While I wait for answers on that, we'll head back and show off some more pieces. Here we also will describe where the cards and how they function. And honestly, I'm just going to leave the wiki kind of here for you guys to mull through in your own time. And let's move on to hopefully the part that most of you probably are here to see, which is the first real kind of super alpha demo of what the game is right now. Sorry about this. Let's try that again. Something went weird there. Don't know why it's asking me this. I've used Unity quite a few times before. Give me a second here while I try and figure out what's going on. All right. Huh. Okay, this is weird. I seem to have forgotten my password. That's embarrassing. Hey, give me one moment while I get everything reset up here. Do apologize for this. Bit of the drawbacks of live streaming. You get to see all my mistakes live. Okay, there we go. Sorry about all that. We've fixed everything up now, and give it a few seconds and it will have started. Now I will say, this ain't the prettiest. We're currently dealing with pretty much developer level stuff. I'm mostly working on code right now, so the game is not pretty at all. That being stated, once it finishes loading everything up into Unity, right, and there we go. Get back to, close out of that. Okay. Let's set up a quick build here, show you some of where we're at in the development process. And I'll kind of give you a baseline for where we're going in the future. Right. Oh dear. Or perhaps not. Alright, we're going to not do that. Why am I getting double? Alright, some reason I've gotten doubled up on my Text Mesh Pro. Alright. Since that's not going to work right now, because something errored out and duplicating on me, we'll run the backup I had ready just in case something went horribly wrong with this. Backup's going to require a second computer, so forgive me for looking to the left as much as I do. Alright, so now at this point there is very little art, as I said, working currently on getting just the programming to work at this point. Here we have the main menu. Only, in fact, the play button works right now. So we're going to ignore the other button's existence while the other computer starts up here. Alright, so here we have what would be the entry point into the multiplayer portion of the game. Now, as I stated, the idea right now is to get the code working, not necessarily the prettiness. However, this gives a general idea of base layout of items. This will obviously change over time. Now, we are going to, with our other computer, which will be our master right now, create a test room. Now, this test room will appear in this computer. Oops, if I remember to select a deck. So, creating a test room over on that computer. Now we have test room over here. It actually ties into Steam IDs right now. I had to add the extra numbers on the end of this because running it off of my Steam account with two of the same name would cause all sorts of issues. So those numbers at the end are just random numbers to really clear up the issue of having two of the same account. They won't be there in the end result. We select our deck from the decks we have available. Right now, the one that works is the Agatamian starter deck, and it allows us to join the room. Here we see the two me's fighting up against each other. And I have the ability to either leave the match or get ready. Once you ready up, it locks the ability to leave the match until the master starts the room or you unready and you can leave. You can rejoin because you really did want to play and start the game. Why this is off the screen, I do not know. Oh, you're not going to let me manually resize this, are you? Okay, so unfortunately a lot of stuff is off the screen here. I haven't really put in the ability for it to adaptively recognize resolutions yet. So at the moment, if you put in a different resolution, it breaks everything. That, of course, will be fixed later on. In fact, if I bring up the editor here, what this all is going down to, I can show you a bit of behind the scenes of how this whole works. Go to the in-match. So this is the in-match canvas. This is what you would see in the game. Now, right now, it's set up pretty much just to basic canvas. Later on, I would have to change anchors of positions of things so that they remain in the right area or the right size. Such as how this button is here, but it's not the right size, so I need to add a script to that to resize it. A little bit of insight into the background of how to do this. Now you have your cards here. They're pretty small, hard to see. Now I don't have the function fully in yet, but you hover over a card and it'll give you a big version of that card, so it's much easier for you to see what the card is. And this works on the field as well. So if I have my opponent me summon a card, I can now right click on that card and bring up that card's info as well. Now, that yet again, the function is not yet in there to complete this task, but this shows you a relatively idea of what is going to happen. I then end the turn of my opponent, and I now have the ability to play my cards. Now, all these cards currently just 0/0s. Don't really have any stats, and they disappear when I summon them. But they actually do have stats in the game. When you click on a card to attack, you'll create this spear icon. Yet again, really basic, just to give the idea of what is going to be there in the end result, not actual end graphics here. But you'll be able to click, drag, and attack. Now, again, if this was a card that had any strength instead of being a 0/0 test card, it would then cause damage to this, and the numbers would show that. I can end my turn, and then my opponent can play his card. This is all being done over the internet right now, so that whole section is done being programmed. My goal is to have this portion of the game at least playable and looking decent by the time the Kickstarter begins. So we're looking at early fall to mid-fall, I'd say. Early to mid-fall, we'll have this working perfectly and looking a lot better. I'll surrender now. And open to answering any questions that anyone has. No, I'm seeing no questions at the moment. To the people viewing this at YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the comments below. I will try and answer them as quickly as I can. If that is all, I'm seeing no questions, so if no one has any questions, I will end this here. And this is going to be our monthly update for the month of April. Well, technically the month of, I'm sorry, yeah, month of April. Ugh, terrible at time. Yeah, so this is the monthly update for the month of what has occurred over the month of April. You can review what happened over the March, the past monthly update, and that one is on YouTube currently. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the Discord. If you need the Discord, that will be in the information below on YouTube or in the chat on Twitch. And I hope to see you all in the Discord asking questions. Thank you very much.